Good afternoon. So I'm Nikki Mason, and I'm Head of Partnerships here at Stonewater. I've been at Stonewater now since April 2016, so just coming up to 6 years. I was an area housing manager, and I then became Head of Housing, but now I'm Head of Partnerships. So one of the things that we all have in common as well is that I am a social housing tenant. I don't live in a Stonewater property, but I live in a Clarion property. So I do understand exactly what some of your concerns might be and where you're coming from. So I just wanted to talk you through my role. So I work within the Customer Experience Directorate. And one of the things that I do is work across all of the other directorates and act as a link for the customer experience team. So I work with finance on the social value and the community investment fund, which I'll be talking to you a bit about later. I have oversight of our community investment offer, and I make sure, and again, I'm going to talk you through what community investment means within Stonewater. And I work with the corporate services to make sure we're compliant and to make sure that we pay people correctly, etc. Another part of my role is emergency planning. So I work with our homes team to particularly around flood. And because I look after the local authority relationships, I work with the National Flood Forums to make sure that we are doing, but you'll be pleased to know at Stonewater we only have 199 high risk flood properties, and all of those people know that they live in one of those properties. So if you don't know, then you're okay.
Nikki, sorry to just interrupt. We can't see your presentation if it's still sharing.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it seems to have gone off.
Right. Oh, I don't know why.
Should we try again?
Yeah. It flashed up, Nikki, and then it just disappeared.
Oh, right, okay. Let me just try. And what I'll do is I'll reshare, but I'll just share the screen.
Yeah.
And rather than turn it into a presentation. So
okay.
Has that come up again?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll leave the other things down the side. It's just I think that's what confuses it. So I was on this slide, so I was just talking about my role and what I do. So I work with our development team as well. So I make sure that we're building the right houses in the right place at the right time. And I make sure that we have good local lettings plans in place with our local authorities to make sure we're letting to the right families, to make sure that we get good cohesive communities in those new neighbourhoods. And one of the other things that I do is special projects. So one of the things that I'm working on at the moment is some rough sleeping accommodation in Coventry, because as part of the pandemic, all the rough sleepers had to come in off the street, and those that are engaging now, they don't want them to go back onto the street. So I'm working with Coventry to look at accommodation that we can help them with. So that's just a really brief overview of what I do. So I was going to talk to you about community investment and what is community investment from a housing provider point of view. So effectively, community investment is time, either knowledge and skills, expertise, or money that we put in to support the development of cohesive communities. So that could be through supporting local community groups, supporting people like you as community champions, or it could be supporting individuals that want to make a difference in their community. But within Stonewater, our offer is... Sorry? Oh, did somebody say something then?
Oh, is that Maggie? Oh, Maggie, I think that's you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, Don, I've had trouble again getting online. It's me.
Oh, no, it's all right. I was just about to email you to see if you were okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you see me?
We can't see you. Your video's off.
Well, I think never mind about that, but I can hear you all.
Perfect, and we can hear you, so that's good.
Hey, thank you. Sorry to be a nuisance.
No, not at all.
Right, so within Stonewater, my role is to have oversight of all of the community investment work that we are doing, and we do it through these in these ways. So one of that is through partnership working, which is why I'm head of partnerships. So that's working with our local authority partners, our contractors, the charitable and voluntary sector, because we can't deliver things in our neighbourhoods by ourselves. We work across 134 local authorities, and there's only one of me, and I can't be everywhere at the same time. So it's really important that we depend on our partners. We do some targeted campaigns and interventions, so you might have seen some of those. So, for example, we ran a furlough campaign when the furlough scheme ended to help customers who would be worried about paying their rent. And those campaigns and interventions are normally subject to what's going on in the external world, or whether around the time of year. So, for example, my flood campaigns that I spoke about tend to run around this time of the year, because this is when the weather starts to change and it starts to become an issue for people. We have a whole range of specialist support services within Stonewater. So we have our retirement living service and our supported housing service. So that's delivers core functions around accommodation and support. But we also have a fuel engagement officer. We have a voluntary sector and charitable sector customer partner that works. So we have lots and lots of different services that we can call upon. We deliver community investment through neighbourhood design, and that talks about some of the work that I do, where I make sure that we build the right type of properties in the right place, and that we don't build in problems for the future. So one of the things that I look at is plans all the time, and I look at parking, and I look at bin stores, and I look at trees and all the things that cause problems for some of our communities, to make sure that we don't build them into it right from the very beginning. Through community conversations. So community conversations are where we go out and we talk to our communities about what's important to them, what are the problems that they are having, and they take all different sorts of formats. So sometimes they are very formal and in person, sometimes they're very informal and virtual. So they're all different. One of my roles as well, and part of the community investment offer, is to try and seek external funding for Stonewater. So if there are pots of money available from local authorities or from charities or voluntary sector organisations that can help improve our communities, then it's my role to apply for those and try and get them into the right place. Awareness and promotion, again, and expertise and advice. So one of the things that we can do is we have lots and lots of different people in Stonewater with lots of different skills. So we offer those skills out as volunteers to our communities. And a really good example of that is where we have community groups and community organisations, and they need to produce their annual accounts. We have a whole finance team who are experts in that kind of thing, and so we will marry somebody up with one of our finance officers, and they'll provide some advice and guidance to make sure that they're doing what they should be doing. And we have a huge social media presence, as you know, with Twitter and Facebook, and so we can promote different activities and make customers aware of different things at different times, because we are able to move quite quickly on those things. So last of all, I've left understanding our impact. So we do all of this stuff, and which is great, but for me, the most important part of my role is, so what if we're going to put money into things, or we're going to do some work in a community, what difference will that make? What impact will it have? And so a big part of my role here at Stonewater is to make sure that we're measuring that impact, and to make sure that we are having the impact that we want to have, and also the impact that our customers need us or want us to have. So I'm just going to talk about impacts quickly. So we have lots of ways that we can measure the effects that we're having within our communities. Through photography, so we always take before and after pictures. For example, when we're doing projects and activities, we can look to do some cost benefit analysis. If by a particular intervention, are we saving customers money in the long run? We can use case studies and stories so that will inspire maybe others to get involved or to try something that's worked for somebody else. We can measure value for money. Do we actually make savings as a result of some of the work that we do? Statistics, we can always tell our story through how many people participate, how many people take part, how much money we raise, all of those kind of things. And then benchmarking is something we do across other housing providers. So we look at our service and the impact it's having, and we compare it to the service of a similar organisation to see whether ours is way off or theirs is way off, and to see whether there is something we could be doing better. So that's what we talk about impact. So if we go back to the community investment offer here within Stonewater, we do some individual and community grants. And one of my roles is to look after that community grant pot. So within the community grants, you can have an individual grant for a customer of up to £500, or you can have a community or project grant for up to £5,000. And what we ask is that any of the schemes or projects that we fund help with one of those following things. And I'll drop this presentation into the Yammer group so that you've got it, so that you're able to see. But I'll also put the community grant guidance and the forms in there as well, so that you've got access to those. So these grants are available to our staff, but also to you as customers. If there is something that you want to do in your neighbourhood, or something that you feel could change, but you need some money to do it, there is a way of funding that. Now, the reason Helen is here is because I work with Helen in the neighbourhoods team, and we finance a lot of this. So if there is something in your community or something in your neighbourhood that you'd like to apply for funding for, please work with Helen, and she will help you complete the forms that you need to, and make sure that we are engaging that whole community, because it's quite important that we do. Certain things will require consultation, certain things, other people in the neighbourhood might not necessarily want to see happen, and we need to understand why that is. So but there's nothing in here that is particularly surprising. So improve the health and well-being of customers and neighbourhoods. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If there's something in your neighbourhood that is getting people down, so for example, planting that's not good, or rubbish or something like that, then we might be able to fund something that will help. Increase our customers' financial confidence and ability. So again, it's really important that people feel confident when it comes to their finances, and it could be that you become aware of a community group locally that support people, and we may be able to fund something for that. Assist our customers' digital capacity. So one of the things, what that means is basically helping people get online. So if you become aware of schemes locally that you think might benefit from help from us, and Stonewater customers would benefit, then again, speak to Helen. We're looking to finance things that help young people make that positive contribution to their community, or improve the general appearance of the area, or improve the use of communal areas and gardens. So that's where you come in, because you're the guys that are out there, you're the guys that are noticing what's going on within that neighbourhood. If there's something that we could be doing to fund that requires a bit of funding, speak to either me or to Helen. again, some of the things that we fund lead on to some of the other things. So again, we want to get customers out of their homes. The pandemic has meant that some people have become isolated. So if there is a project that you're looking to deliver or that you would like to see delivered that would help do that, then again, talk to us. But as I say, I'll pop this onto the Yammer so that you've got this list so that you can refer to it if you need to. This is the story so far. So up until Friday of last week, I'd authorised 167 grants to individuals and projects, and you can see the breakdown there. So there's 103 individual grants and 64 project grants, and they range from really simple things like a doorbell for somebody to the removal of a whole row, a vast area of trees and shrubs and things because it's causing problems. So it can be for anything. But as of Friday last week, 2,382 households had benefited from funding through the community pot. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of examples of things that we have funded through this pot, just to give you some ideas. So this is Warren Court in Bournemouth. Warren Court is a retirement living scheme. Through the pandemic, people had become quite isolated. So we gave a grant of £1,300 to provide some outdoor seating so that the customers could meet outside safely. And as you can see, we generated a social value from it. So when we talk about impact, one of the things that we can measure is our social value, and we have a tool that we can use that allows us to attribute a financial value to something that we have delivered. And it's very complex, and there's lots of algorithms that sit behind it that work it out. But again, we then did a survey on this scheme of all the customers, and that's what we were able to generate from it. But also the next steps are that they are going to have a gardening club now that they're going to kick off this summer, so that again they're getting involved and they're proud of where they live. One of the other grants that we gave was to somebody hoarding. So it was somebody that was in their property hoarding, and a customer needed some skips to help remove some of the rubbish and help them clear. So again, that customer felt better. They were able to clear their property with the help of the local authority as well, and we were able to generate some social value from it. So we're not asking you to help people, on a one-to-one level with hoarding, but what we're saying is, because you live on those neighbourhoods, you might become aware of somebody that might need some support, and it may be worth mentioning it to Helen or myself or to Danielle, and we can get that help put in place. And the video doorbell, so we tend to give these or give grants to people where they are victims of domestic abuse, or they are victims of crime or antisocial behaviour, to help us gather evidence and to help them feel safer. And again, you can see that it has a massive impact on the individuals that receive them. So again, we're not asking you to get involved in anything like that, but what we're saying is if you become aware of anything, or you become aware of somebody that might need some support, speak to one of us and we can help get that in place. There are other ways that we can help other than the community grants, and that is through our Clean Sweep Fund, and Helen will be able to tell you a little bit more about that shortly. We have the Longley Foundation, that is our charitable arm that is able to provide funding or expertise, again, that we can point you in the direction of and help people make applications to. But we also have Liz, who I mentioned earlier, who is our charitable sector customer partner. And if none of those pots are suitable, she has ways, and she has special kit that can help her find funding pots locally that might be able to help you. So again, access to all those are either via Helen or myself or Danielle. So that's me. That's what I wanted to run through. Did anybody have any questions or anything they want me to go back to?
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, there's been some talk in the chat. Peter, don't want to put you on the spot. Did you want to ask a question?
Yes, I did. I don't know Helen's surname.
Oh, Holland.
It's not Helen Stonewater, is it?
That's like mine. We've both got the same surname.
No. Sorry, it's Holland, Peter.
Right. Thank you.
Was that the only question, Peter? Sorry, I thought you were going to ask something else. Just waiting. Yeah. Did you have any questions, Peter? If not, we can ask around.
Well, you know, I see these grants which are available, but for instance, stuff like planting, is that not something that the grounds maintenance contractors should be doing, and, you know, looking after the surroundings, cutting trees, etc.?
Yes, there is some of that's part of the maintenance, but some of our schemes want to do a bit more, or they want to do, or they want some bits removed because, again, they want to open up the space and use it for something else. So it's not necessarily maintenance as such that it gets used for, but it is for projects if people want to do something. So our contractors provide a grounds maintenance service, so they will come out and they'll keep the area clean and tidy. But if a particular community wants to have flower beds or vegetable beds or something like that, then this is the type of thing that grant funding can help finance. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. But I mean, I thought, as well, certainly on the leaseholders side of our scheme, and it's about 50-50, I think we're prevented from doing anything outside the four walls to the property. You know, in the way of sort of, for instance, putting a patio in or planting some shrubs or something like that.
This is where the working with either myself or with Helen will come into play, because if as a community there is a shared space and the community want a patio there and they want to do something, there's absolutely no reason, if everybody is in agreement, that we couldn't do something like that. I think it's when individuals want to do things necessarily that don't or might affect the value of somebody else's or whatever. But if for community projects, we would be open to having conversations around what people might like to do.
Okay, thank you.
If there is a head lease that says we can't do something, then we might not be able to. But that is the only thing that would stop us if the community wanted to do it. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Brilliant question. We do have another question from Tina in the chat, and then if we go to Louise, and then I think Frida's got a hand up. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through because I can't see everybody.
Okay, so I've got a couple of questions actually, if that's okay. So one of them is the doorbell only available? Is the doorbell available to non-tenants?
To non-tenants?
No.
As a community?
No. No, not from an individual grant point of view. From an individual grant point of view, then the customer has to be a Stonewater customer.
Okay.
But from a community project point of view, we'll work with the entire community.
If you know, Tina, of someone who you feel might benefit from something like that, then the police do have, you know, that they might be able to signpost them to different agencies who can support them to get a video doorbell. So they do have different avenues that they can work with. So
okay.
And there's the Bobby Trust as well. The Bobby Trust
Yeah.
is a big national organisation, and they will help with crime prevention advice too.
Could we help Tina with that if she
Yes,
did want to go through?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a couple of people. One of them is a tenant, but the other one isn't. So
it may be, Tina, that we speak to Liz and just see if she knows of anybody in the local area, that any charity who can help. Because in the Hampshire area, there's the Lighthouse Trust. So there's lots of different, they're called different things in different regions. So it's just
not
about
for domestic violence, though. It's for antisocial.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You know, there'll be different charities out there that can support customers and victim support and things like that. So I think this might be a conversation for me to have with you outside of this, just to find out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I can go away and speak to Liz.
No problem. And the other question was, you know, you said like someone who's a hoarder, or you know, they got a lot of rubbish in their back garden. Again, is that only available to tenants, or is it also extended to non-tenants? So I'm just trying to get clarification.
Yeah, no, and I would suggest again, it's a similar situation. So speak to speak to Helen or I, and we will help.
Okay,
and if we can help, we will. And if we can't, we'll make sure that we point you in the direction of somebody that can.
Okay, so what about changing chicken wire fence, so like wired fencing to wood fencing?
If that's something that you wanted to do as a community and you wanted to apply for a grant to do it, we could consider it. We need to understand what it is and why you want to do that, and
just the privacy more than anything else.
Yeah.
And safeguarding for everyone.
Is that in a, sorry Tina, is that in a communal area or individual gardens?
Individual, so it's between houses.
Yeah, so our tenancy agreement won't allow us to do that, but we could fence off parts of the neighbourhood that were causing issues.
Okay, what about between a non-tenant and a tenant where there's a bush? Would you consider putting fence there for that tenant? Because they're disabled and the bush is a problem. And the people who own the bush, which is Asta, and the tenant is disabled also on the other side. So again, how would Stonewater, from a community perspective, aid to resolve that issue?
Again, I do think we could help, and we also have, you know, I know lots of people at Asta. It's something we could maybe work on together.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking with that approach. It'd be a conversation between us and Asta to kind of talk about the ins and outs of that, I think.
Yeah, again.
So I can expect to hear from either one of you, both of you, at some point with regards to all of this.
Helen, did you want to pick it up initially?
Yeah, Tina, I will make contact with you, but it won't be until next week. I'm sorry, it's a bit chocker tomorrow, Friday. Okay.
I'm just making a note of that.
That's fine. I'll give you a call next week.
I tell you what day next week I am not available. Sorry.
Would you want to put that in the chat bar? And then I'll...
Oh, it's just Thursday, really. So, yeah.
Oh, just Thursday. Okay.
Yeah. Everything else, any other day, like, it can be moved about. Sorry.
Fab. Okay.
Can I ask a simple question? Well, maybe not simple, from either Helen or yourself, Danny. We have a public car park adjacent to the scheme, and there's a hedge, a conifer hedge fence between the two, which is part of the scheme. And outside of the hedge is a wooden fence, so that's facing the public car park. And the wooden fence has been damaged on a number of occasions by cars driving into it, basically. We keep getting told that it's ours, it's Stonewater's, but that they won't claim on the insurance to get it fixed because of the excess. So is there any way that we could put our hands on some money to get it done through this scheme at all?
I think that would be perfectly acceptable. We might not be able to finance it this financial year, but we could have a look at it. And again, Helen, are you able to pick that up?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Peter, I think with that one, we do just need to double check land ownership, that it is ours and it's our responsibility. And they're the kind of things why it's good for us to have that conversation, so I can check that out and speak to my colleagues.
Okay.
And then, like Nikki said, it could be something that we look at in the next financial year, depending on the costing and stuff.
Right. Well, so same thing then. Will you contact me sometime next week?
Yeah, I'm going to be busy next week.
You're a busy girl, I know.
So
No,
just
that's
following
fine.
on, sorry, Helen, just following on from what Peter and Tina, because Louise has asked in the chat if she could have both yours, Helen, and Nikki's email address. So it might be just quite useful to share that if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll put my mobile number on the Yammer as well, so people can ring me if they need to.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. So just want to check, Louise, did you have any other questions? No? Okay, lovely. So I know, Frida, you had your hand up. Did you have anything?
Yes, it was a follow-on from what Peter was speaking about, planting. Once this special planting is done, who looks after it? Does it then become the gardeners or the residents?
And this is where the conversation comes in that is needed, and this is what Helen was alluding to. We need to get the buy-in of the rest of the community, because if the community aren't going to look after it, then it needs to be added to the service charge, which means then we would need to consult with people. So again, this is why those early conversations about what it is that you want to do and what you're trying to achieve are really, really important, because it's much easier to do that consultation right at the very beginning so that everybody knows what's going to be expected than to try and do that retrospectively.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another really good question.
Yeah.
Lovely. So I just wanted to check, because we've got Maggie, just because we can't see you, so I don't know whether you're trying to put your hand up, but did you have any questions?
No, thanks for asking. I'm not putting my hand up.
Oh, lovely. So I didn't know whether you were there waving, but we can't actually see you.
No, I my IT training, I think, with this Zoom. I'm not getting it. I haven't even got this chat bar that you're talking about.
If you're not, all right, okay, yeah, we can pick this up offline, Maggie.
Okay, we will do. Thank you.
Helen, did you just want to talk about the Clean Sweep Fund? Because I just think that might be useful to mention now.
Yeah, so the Clean Sweep Fund is different to the Community Investment Grant. It's a similar application that we have to do, but it comes from an officer. So a customer partner, myself, can make applications, and surveyors can make applications as well, but they're supported by customers. And that funding is there for, it's called Clean Sweep, and it's there to kind of make improvements within communal areas which may have been affected from a result of being in lockdown and COVID and everything else. So things like an area being prone to fly tipping is a way that we can put some signs up, get that area cleaned, cleared out, maybe plant something in that area, so then it's not a hotspot area for fly tipping. Other things is like improve, it might be a footpath within a communal area that's come uneven and stuff like that, or it needs replacing, we can apply it that way. Also, just trying to give you some other examples. Internals of communal areas, could it do with a repaint? Would that help? So there's lots of different things that we could look at, and that their applications there are to 5,000 per scheme. So it may be that we can do some individual little applications or one big application, but it's just something to kind of keep in mind. And I know that Nikki's mentioned about Liz and other, there is other pots of money around. So if we come up with an idea and we think, actually, that doesn't fit within any of those criteria, we can go to Liz, or we can speak to our contractors, our partnering contractors. They provide social value, so they give back time, maybe some resources, materials. So for example, our garden maintenance contractors have cleared an area out for us, like a very overgrown area, which is out of their contract. They've cleared out an area and they've replanted it, part of social value, or they've built us a raised bed, things like that. So, you know, no idea is a silly idea. We just need to like look at it. It might be that that idea that you had at the beginning might expand. We might have to change it and adapt it a little bit, depending on what the rest of the community are in support of and wanting to work with us. But it is really about, it's your community. We want to hear what the residents are saying, customers are saying, and how we can, you know, work together to improve things for you. Any questions?
Can I, sorry, go on, carry on. I'll defer.
Frida?
You're going to need an awful lot of money. you're going to be inundated.
We're doing quite well at spending the money at the moment. Don't worry, I'm not afraid of asking for money. So like,
right.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
The good thing about this, Frida, though, is by opening up the conversation and by getting us to look at what it is that you're wanting to do, we can also identify things that should have been done as part of the contract and push and get those done as well. So it works both ways. Sorry, Peter, you had a question.
Yeah, on our lease, well, as I said, it's a shared ownership, half and half, rented and leased. On the lease, and I presume included in the rent for the renters, there is the facility of a warden who visits the site, doesn't live on site. He disappeared some 4 or 5 years ago, but the lease still shows a warden service, and I presume the renters are still paying a community charge for that warden. Now, you know, this needs sorting out. We've been trying to get some action on this for some time, and we did have a questionnaire sent round to say, you know, shall we change the lease, or do you want to reinstate a warden? And then that went dead quiet. That was 6 months ago, and I've not heard anything since.
Okay, well, we'll take that up with the leasehold, well, the home ownership team. So we'll find out where that. What's the name of your scheme again, Peter?
It's Carlisle Street with no S, Lile. And it's Meltham, West Yorkshire.
Meltham. Okay, I'll take that as an action away, just so that you're aware, Daniel, Helen. I'll contact Catherine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions?
Do we have any ideas?
Or ideas, yeah. Even better.
Who deals with antisocial?
So it depends on what level of antisocial behaviour. So antisocial behaviour, there's our community disruption team, and they deal with environmental and low-level ASB, but mainly environmental ASB. So it could be relating to graffiti in communal areas. It could be like living noises.
Who deals with that?
So who deals with it? So the community disruption team sit within the neighbourhoods team, and then the resolution team deal with higher level antisocial behaviour. So they deal with the more like verbal abuse, physical assaults, domestic abuse, safeguarding, any kind of legal like intervention. The sits with the resolution team. And where the community disruption team deal with the lifestyle noises, clashes in that respect. So like say someone's using their washing machine in a block of flats at 3 o'clock in the morning, but are continuously doing it, so it's preventing the person from underneath sleeping. Someone who's slamming doors, like in communal areas, but intentionally slamming doors, graffiti, maybe children who are playing but they're causing vandalism whilst playing and becoming disruptive, maybe a bit abusive, they'll look at that as well. So there's two different teams that look at antisocial behaviour. One sits with under neighbourhoods and the other one is resolutions. It might be, Tina, that I don't know, further down the line, Danny, you invite someone from resolution and someone for, I'm just thinking from the different expert areas as well, so you get to know a little bit more.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, writing that down.
But just so that you're aware, those teams also have access to this funding too. So if you're working with one of those teams, they may just deem that an intervention that requires funding is the best way. So again, it's that conversation with us, isn't it? To see what we can do and what we can't do and what's the best way to deal with it.
Okay. What about when it comes to heating and window and things like that? For like a row of your houses, for example.
That would come within our homes team. So it depends whether it's a repair issue or it's a replacement issue, things like that. So it would come under the different teams within homes. So there's day-to-day repairs or there's planned maintenance.
Okay. So
your windows, doors, they have a lifespans, so Darren, who attended some of our community champion coffee meetups and stuff, yeah, he would be able to answer more questions in that about that. But we could,
one of you send him an email, please, and get him to call me.
Yep, I can do that.
This is not just like, it doesn't just affect my house, it affects like 8 houses.
Okay.
A row of 8 properties where heating in the windows really needs to be dealt with.
Okie dokie, yeah, I'll take that one away.
Thank you.
Different subject. Can I have a minute? Yeah, thanks. I've just done my first walkabout and submitted my
good, yeah,
observations, and I get a reply back saying one of the neighbourhood teams will contact me in due course. And so, you know, I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
But it's I thought there might be some means of dialogue, you know, to talk to people more directly once this takes place.
Oh, okay. So what kind of things would you like to see, Peter, like after that transaction of submitting the form?
Well, a name and perhaps phone number or email address of these people who I'm submitting the report to.
Like a direct contact.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question. Because what we're doing at the moment, as we've rolled it out, especially with neighbourhoods, and like Helen, I believe you might have mentioned it before, that because we have specialist teams who do different things, and on the form, it's obviously asking about ASB, parking, waste disposal, and different things like that. So depending on if you have an issue in your area, and say if it's ASB, then when Helen gets that through, she'll be able to direct that through to the relevant colleague. So there's not one colleague who would just deal with everything with neighbourhoods, if that makes sense. That's the only reason why at the moment we've just gone with the generalist approach. So you know that it is going straight to neighbourhoods, and then it's up to us then to make sure it goes to the right person to action that query for you. And then depending on what your query is, if they need to contact you, they've got your details, so then they'll contact you about it.
Okay, look forward to that, definitely.
Yep. Lovely. How did you find the walkabout, Peter? Was it all right? And was the form okay and stuff as well?
Yeah. I mean, what I did find is there's no opportunity, doesn't seem to be an opportunity to put pictures on, and perhaps that might help.
I would suggest that you do take pictures, like if there's things that you're reporting about, because the different expert areas that goes to, they might then contact you and say, have you got a photo, and ask you to send it in. So I would suggest that if you have the ability, the tools to be able to do that, that would be great.
Yeah, but I can't actually put it on the report form.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we were like, oh, because of the system we're using to send out the forms, it just doesn't have the capabilities of attaching photos or anything like that. But it is something that if and when we contact you, or if you have any photos you would like to send it to us, you can just drop me an email, Peter, at customer engagement, and we can make sure they're passed on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Do our community champions have an email inbox within the business anywhere?
Not specifically, not like you as community champions. We've got obviously the Yammer group, so they can speak all together, kind of thing, in conversation.
I'm just trying to think where would be a good place if people have got photographs. So maybe the Yammer is a place to put them, because you can put files on Yammer, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is all something, you know, like I say, it's a pilot and something we can kind of tease out as we go along and see what works for everybody. You might find, you know what, I'd rather just put it on Yammer, or actually, can we have an email address that you just send it to? So yeah, we can open it out to the group once the walkabouts are done, because what we've done with the walkabouts as well is they are split into areas. So because there's about 30 something of you, about 33 of you, we've split it for the east and north and west have gone week commencing 29th. That's this week, isn't it? Feels weird now, it's the 1st of December. So that was this week, and then the south is the 13th of December, and that's just so we can really focus and target on those areas if issues do arise. That makes sense. Frida?
I'm still not on Yammer.
Oh, have you still not managed to get on?
I get the messages through, but I can't connect. I have no bother with the other, you know, the estate services and scrutiny, but for some reason, not that.
Okay, I'll have a look into that.
I don't know how it works, you know, and I have sent you an email about a little issue about those leaflets. Just how best to deal with it.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Frida, by the end of the week.
No.
Yeah, I think I'd read it whilst I was in another meeting. I thought, need to kind of come away and think about the best solutions.
I knew you'd be busy today.
Oh, thank you, Frida. Right, so I'll pop that one on. So Yammer, because there might be other community champions as well who are like, Yammer, what is this? What's going on? How do we work it? So, you know, we could all probably get together and have a little session on Yammer. Or if I'm sure there's probably a lot of guidance and things out there on how to use it. So I'll find it out. I'm on the other two, the estate services and scrutiny. No bother with that. It's just weird why you can't connect to this one.
So it's weird.
Is there an email for that? So is there an email to get on Yammer?
Yeah, you should have received an invite.
Got nothing. If I did, it didn't come into my inbox, and I can't. I can't see it on the folder that I've got for you. The last email I've got is on the 19th of November.
Oh, yeah, you definitely should have got an invite, because it's directly from Yammer. So it might be in your junk. I'd check your junk mail, but that's a good shout. I might reach out to everybody else to see, because I know not all the community champions have managed to get on there yet. So when I send you, I've got some more information to send you all. You're probably going to be inundated with emails from me. So when I send you some more information this week, I'll drop in to see if anyone else is having troubles and see what I can do about that. Yeah, because it's come directly from Yammer. So check the junk. If it's not there, I'll seek advice. I'll see if anyone else can I might have
received it, but I can't see it.
Okie doke.
Just in passing, talking about Yammer, Danny. Whenever I log on to the Yammer site, I immediately get a message on my email saying, "You have logged on using a new device. We will remember this device and deal with it next time." Every single time that happens.
That might be something to do with the settings, maybe. Again, I can have a look into that. I'm going to be a Yammer expert, I think.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah. But yeah, I'll take those away and see if I can figure stuff out. If I don't know, I'll rope someone else in to help me out with it. Probably IT will be the best bet, won't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Okay.
I'll save the information from today onto Yammer, and yeah, as I said, I put my mobile number up there. So,
Bro.
and you've got people have got Helen's email address already, I'm assuming.
I don't know whether they have, but it is quite easy. You'll be able to work it out once you see
Yeah.
Nikki's.
We're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Nikki, could you send the presentation to me as well? Because I think I'll send it as an email to everybody, obviously for people who haven't been able to get on Yammer or anything yet.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Lovely. Well, if nobody's got any more questions, I mean, with 3 minutes to go, so I think we've done quite well on time. But I'm sure Nikki and Helen will be okay. If you do have any questions following this, or like to know a little bit more about community investment or anything else, you can just drop us a line, drop us an email, and we'll get back in touch with you.
Yeah, or put something on Yammer, whatever's easiest for you.
Yeah, because Nikki and
Yammer,
Helen,
use Yammer.
yeah, I was going to say you're both on Yammer now as well, aren't you? So,
we need to be able to get on Yammer.
You need to be able to get on it first. Yeah, that would be a good start.
So let's start there.
Start there and see how you get on.
Yeah. If you haven't heard from me by next week, I've just I've had a breakdown about Yammer.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. But like I said, let's start and trying to get us on there first before you upload stuff that we can't see.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely make sure, Tina, that obviously with other people who are having issues, I'll still email you all the info, so you've got it to hand anyway.
Yeah.
5 stars, everyone. Thank you so much. And Helen, I'll speak to you next week. Thank you.
Yeah, and Peter as well. I'll give you both a call.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, everybody. I'll speak to you soon.
everyone.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.